everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I have this sketch inspiration from Stick It Down, and I will link them below for you. I am using the Pebbles collection again to scrapbook these photos of us baking cookies back in 2020. The sketch was a little different. I wasn't sure how to incorporate the sketch because when I saw the inspiration that the design team did, it was definitely very different than what I was seeing with the sketch. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take it my own way, and I really like the way that the layout came out, but I also really like the layout that the design team came up with as well. The photo alignments that I have are a little different than what the sketch calls for. I needed to have the 4x6 photos on the left-hand side because my 6x4 photo, the one that's next to the title, is the picture of the final cookies that we ended up making. So I switched the layout up in regards to I have 3 4x6 photos on the left-hand side of the layout, and then I moved the 6x4 photo as well as the 4x4 photo and the title to the right-hand side of the layout. And I made sure that I could switch all of that across the layout as well. And I think that it turned out really well. I did not configure the measurements of this green paper correctly, so you will see me doing some paper piecing here shortly. I went ahead and added the photos to the green paper for the right-hand side of the layout. Then trying to figure out what I'm doing and how I'm able to make this work, I do line up the other sheet on top of it. I just used a little bit of adhesive to make sure that they stay together while I cut it. And then here you can see me trying to add this piece of paper back in, and I was trying to line it up, but I couldn't find the seam, and I end up covering up the seam anyways, so you can't even see that the paper actually doesn't line up between those two pieces. So now that I have paper pieced the paper back together, now I want to make sure that the two green pieces are the same size. So I go ahead and cut those out, and then I'm going to adhere everything down. The background piece is going to be that white paper that has the trees and the little houses on it. I felt like it reminded me of like gingerbread houses. Now, while we're not making gingerbread houses, I feel like baking cookies and decorating a gingerbread house and decorating cookies all kind of fall into the same category. So that's why I use that paper. Then I'm going to add the like red candy cane striped paper next to it in a 1/4 inch strip, just like the sketch calls for. And I did have some extra photos, so I do decide to bring out some flip flaps. I'm going to use a 4x6 flip flap on the right hand side, and that was the original one that I was going to use, but then I decided towards the end that I'm going to end up using a 3x3 flip flap as well. I go ahead and use the wood grain thickers that I picked up with this collection. I do believe that these thickers are from the Pebbles collection as well. And then these like candy cane striped thickers, I spelled out the word cookies. So I have Christmas cookies as my title over on the far right hand side. And I did follow the sketch by putting it on its side, which is not something that I would normally do, but I do love the way that it came out. Up at the top on the left-hand side, I start with the cluster up there, just like the sketch calls for. I have a little circle die cut that says for Santa, and it has a couple of Christmas cookies on it. Then I went ahead and put a little gingerbread girl and another like brown circle. It kind of reminds me of like a gingerbread cookie with a snowflake on it, so it looked like maybe snowflake icing. I found this tag that says love you more than Christmas cookies, which I thought was perfect for this particular layout. I also found this circle embellishment that says baking spirits bright. When I was looking through the collection, I was looking for anything that had gingerbread cookies or any cookies, any sayings that had cookings or baking, and was just adding all of those pieces to this layout. I went ahead and pulled in these two, I think they look like gingerbread houses. They kind of match the houses that are in the background paper, and I really like the way that those two add to the cluster. This little gingerbread guy with a broken foot and using a candy cane as his little walker is so stinking cute. I did use the same candy cane striped thickers to do the year as well, and I added that to the left-hand side of the layout. This is where I decided to pull in that 3x3 flip flap and add that to the far left-hand side. Now, I went ahead and left in this mistake. I thought that I could add some stitching to this layout to cover the seams. That did not work because it actually fell behind the paper. It was just a horrible mess. So I went ahead and cut it off just by turning it over and cutting the seams in the back. And I have this silver washi tape that I just added to the left-hand side and then just continued it over a little bit to the right. I didn't go all the way to the end, but I think that it works perfectly fine just like that. And just to add some continuity, I did go ahead and add the silver washi tape to the title. So here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I noticed in the close-ups that this washi tape didn't stick very well, so I'm going to need to make sure that I get some liquid glue on that washi tape, make sure it stays down. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.